We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Monday when you hear this. We're recording it Sunday afternoon. We have Will with us. So often the time Will and I talk about all the bad shit that's going on. I guess we should start it off with some good news. We've got
Okay.
the war in Iran, which is the bad news.
Hmm.
The good news is Donald Trump said the war is at hand. It's pretty much over,
Hmm.
and that Iran is ready to surrender for a ceasefire. So, yay, it's over.
Right. And Iran and the Iranians said
Well,
we never
yeah,
said they never said that. We don't know what you're talking about. We're in this for the long haul. And they put out their demands. And their demands are the U.S. leaves the Gulf area. Israel needs to leave. I mean, they laid out a whole bunch of shit. But I thought the best one about it is they're talking about the Strait of Hormuz. They just said, hey, we'll let every country's ship through except for United States ships and their allies. Okay. Now that's going to be interesting
yeah.
because now that means naval ships can come in. So I think this is just a plane on them more and more because the Iranians, I don't give a fuck what Pete Hegseth said or Donald Trump. I don't care what the New York Times is. I'm reading today before we came on a week in Iran. No, they got them by the balls. They
Yeah,
got them
they
by the
do.
balls because the problem is, and I'm looking at all this because the mass media is not covering it right because they don't want to cover exactly the consequences of what we did. Again, like we said I said in the live with you, the United States attacked an economic linchpin of the world. Okay,
Yeah.
and right now, I think Mr. Global said it. And again, if you want to see a good eye guy who will talk about how oil is really affects the world, we have a 21-day window before things go to shit.
Yeah.
21-day window until we look like what happened in the oil crisis of the 70s,
That
which would
sucked.
be worse now because there are places um, where diesel fuel is running out. Gee, what happens with diesel fuel? I don't know because most of our transportation is done by trucks,
Right.
which leads to leads to shortages, which leads to higher prices. These are things that roll up. And you had said in your previous video, I was watching it today about Trump when he was told. At first, he said, "No, we didn't. I wasn't aware that they would. I didn't."
Well,
I said, "No one told me they would close the Strait of Hormuz."
the first thing he said was he wanted to bomb Iran, and they said, "Yeah, no, don't do that. That's a dumb idea." And
Yeah,
Donald Trump said, "No, I'm smarter than that." And then they said, "Well, what if they close the Strait of Hormuz?" And Donald says, "Ah, they're never going to do that. And if they do, we're the big American group.
well,
We'll fucking stop them." And of course, he was wrong on both accounts.
and I thought about that he didn't think it would happen. I'm going. I mean, he's old enough, like we are, to remember the oil crisis.
Right.
Remember the things that have been done in the Middle East. Okay, apparently his brain doesn't work well anymore. But it didn't finally hit me. Trump has no empathy or cannot relate to other people's reactions to things. Is how
Yeah.
he would react. So he's thinking, yeah, if it was me, I wouldn't close off my source of income.
Right.
By closing the store to Hormuz, you shut off your oil. So you don't want to do that because you're going to lose money. He does not think in the terms of what the Iranians said, knowing that they would pinch everybody off.
Well,
And they're willing to take the sacrifice because to Trump, sacrificing for yourself for the greater good means shit to him or
yeah, it
for a
doesn't
greater
mean
victory.
anything. It doesn't mean anything to him, and and the idea he was surprised by the fact that they started sending missiles to other nations other than Israel. And he was surprised that they shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Like you say, if you know anything about history, of course they're going to fucking do that. To think
Yes.
that they're not going to do it, but but Iran is hurting themselves with oil, of course. Although there's more oil from Iran leaving the Strait of Hormuz than ever before. They're
Right.
getting through. So they're not really losing money. But at this point, they understand that if they give in to Donald Trump, then they're under his thumb and under his control, and they're
Hmm.
willing to sacrifice it just to maintain their sovereignty. Yeah, because he wants to go in and
But
take over the country and do all that shit. And
can't.
granted, we have a shitty fucking regime there,
But
but
you
America
can't.
first.
You can't. Again, we're here. I mean, I think historians later on will go to debate what the fuck, why, for decades. I mean,
Well,
they're
there'll be
still
no,
talking
but
about
there'll be no debate. It's a fucked up, stupid idea with no
yeah, stupid
strategy
idea.
and no plan. It was
All right,
bad.
and that's where we're at. There's no plan, and so what Republicans and they're doing right now is trying to find a narrative to sell it to us.
Right.
I was talking to Eric T the other night. We did a live, and I like Pete Hesketh. I mean, him as a military person, I was bringing it up to him. He goes, the previous Defense Department secretary was Lloyd Austin, General Lloyd Austin.
Right.
Okay. And even if you go back to Dick Cheney, no, not Cheney, go back to Rumsfeld, other Secretary of Defenses, all right,
Yeah.
even in Republicans, there was a dignity to them. You knew they knew what they were talking about. You knew they were doing what they were doing and using the Pentagon, okay, because they're in charge of a whole structure. Pete Hesketh comes out there. First of all, dude, stop with the slick back hair. That just looks like you've got a whole container of three roses rubbed in your head. And if you know, you know when I said that.
I like to think it's more dippity do. Remember that from the 60s?
Yeah, I
The
remember
dippity
that from the
do
six.
stuff?
Yeah, I don't see him doing that because that's has a racial overtone. I see him using three roses because that's that sticky stuff, and you know what I mean. My dad used that. Oh my god. Anyway, and he sits there, and when he talks about the Defense Department, he talks about it like it's a Fox News segment,
Right.
not about the dignity of it, not about what we're trying to do. And then, he uses words like, we're going to bring death and destruction. Who needs rules of engagement? Fuck the Geneva Convention, basically.
Yeah.
And like, there was one time when he had the Joint Chiefs there and he interrupted them. And the problem is, Dean Cain, I don't know why he took the job, brother, because they're
I
going to
don't either.
they're going to drop this on you. Okay. Because already Trump is pissed going to them. Why can't you open the strait? What's your problem? And basically they're saying it's real simple. Okay. It's 100 miles straight, but there's only 20 miles where it's deep enough for tankers to go through with their weight. All you need is not a naval boat. You need one speedboat, one handheld missile. Goodbye. We sink the carrier. We sink
Right.
the cargo ships. The simplistic. What's driving these guys crazy right now is that the Iranians always had simplistic, non-technological, no, said high technological ways of defending their country. And this whole thing with the drones is a grand example. As one person said it, they dropping drones on ships that are millions of dollars that cost $20,000,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
and they get around these sophisticated air defense systems. And you know what country we could ask that deals with that and knows how to handle it? It's called Ukraine.
Well,
But he
he
won't
has
talk.
asked Ukraine. He
No,
has asked Ukraine for them.
yes, because last
Yeah,
time I
he
said he
has
didn't
asked.
want to ask him because he was pissed off because it's all Zelensky's fault that we're in this because he won't surrender to Putin. I mean, he's just, I don't know what he says. That you say he says this, I say he says this, but you know what? We're both right. We
Yeah.
don't know what's coming out of that mouth.
Yeah.
He's so like this right now because it's not, again, bully, punch someone in the face. The problem is when you punch the Iranians in the face, they said, okay, and they went two hands on him, and he doesn't know what to do about it. They don't know what to do about it.
Well,
That's the problem.
then you got the other factor here is Israel. And Israel's taking a
Ugh.
beating in this country. The people who get APAC, everybody's pushing back against Israel. We don't know if Benjamin Netanyahu's alive or not, and I don't really fucking care. Um, but they're bombing the piss out of Israel. And
Yeah.
I think Israel at this point would like to back away from this too. And that's the thing. Iran knows that Israel and America had about enough. So that's why they're going to double down, and that's why they're going to say, "I don't want." I mean, because if they just cave to them and get a ceasefire, they're in no better situation than they were
No.
before. So they're going to want to try to destroy as much shit as they can do, especially with Israel. They want to decimate Israel, get the United States out of the Middle East, and who knows what they want to do. They've got a horrible regime too. People always say to me, "Why are you supporting Iran?" I'm not supporting Iran. I'm
No.
supporting America. Don't go into something we don't need to go into.
No. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous. Okay. I'm not even going to talk about the Iranian government anymore because we know what it is. We know
Yeah,
what it was before. But this sounds pretty rank. It sounds crude, but that was the Iranian people's problem, and they were
yeah,
trying to do it. But again, that government is brutal. But eventually, through their own economic stupidity, I think there would have been a regime change probably in 4 to 5 years. That's
yeah,
my opinion because you could see it coming. But you fucked with them, okay, in order to save the people. But it's the stupidest thing. We're going to save the people from your government by bombing the people. Now they
yeah,
don't give a fuck. Some of them they hate the government, but they don't want to deal with the United States because oh look, it's raining oil.
yeah.
I mean, and then the Israelis got in on it, regardless what government was going to show up in Iran. They were not going to be happy campers with the Israelis. Let me go and back up. We keep
Well, let
saying
me just say, let me
Israelis.
just
Let's
let
go
me
ahead. I'm
just say
sorry.
this first. The reason why America is in this fight is because of the Israelis, because of
Yeah.
Netanyahu. They either
Netanyahu.
leveraged Netanyahu, they either leverage Donald Trump or they manipulate him or whatever. But we are there because of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah. So that's it. It's Benjamin Netanyahu. I keep saying Israel and the Israelis. It's Benjamin Netanyahu. But now, if the Israelis don't do something about him, okay, we have issues. We know we got to get rid of Trump. Fortunately, where our system is built, okay, it's not a parliamentary system. We have to wait till November, and that ain't looking good. Now, we may not get
No,
rid of Trump, but we can basically cut his power because you'll have a Congress that's going to do something instead of lay there and be his lapdogs. Okay, that's why Republicans are in
right.
panic mode. They know they're fucked.
Yeah,
But they have a parliamentary system. You can't call for no. You can't call for the no confidence in the prime minister. They keep letting him do this war powers thing because they're afraid of everyone else. They're stuck, but they got to unstick it. What they need to do is get rid of him and tell the rest of the East, look, we're going to get rid of him. He's got to go to jail. Give us a little time. Let us have a ceasefire. We won't fuck with you. You don't fuck with us. And let us deal with this right now. And then we can hammer something out. Because that's the thing. That's what's holding them in power. Is if they remove Netanyahu, other countries may, the other ones may press it, Hezbollah and Hamas. Although Hamas is pretty much dead, but they need to deal with him because he's costing you money. And I don't care what census you have, it's getting through. Tel Aviv is getting pounded.
yeah,
Pounded. Your Iron Dome is done. You're out of missiles. And here's where it starts to get even worse. We're what, 14? This is the 21st day. 3 weeks since this fucking shit started. Okay.
right.
We're out of munitions already. They are pulling, they had war games in Korea. Okay. And to cover, they're pulling out Patriot missiles for Korea. They're pulling out defensive systems of Korea to send to the Middle East. That same time, North Korea started sending ballistic missiles into the Sea of Japan again as a warning. South Koreans are not happy right now. Also, the expeditionary force that is coming to the Middle East more than likely to invade Kark Island. Yeah, really smart guys. If you're going to do that, why do you fucking announce it? If you're going to bomb it, you invade it right away. But hey, what do I know? Okay. But it's coming from Japan. They're there to dissuade the Chinese. And now the two people that he loves the most, the North Korean leader and the president of China, who he's going to meet in a few weeks, are getting gifts for him. Oh, by the way, don't forget the gift he get Putin, even though Putin is giving them intelligence and about where American troops are and stuff, lifting the restrictions on Russian oil. What does that do? We don't see the oil. The
Right.
money goes to Putin at close to $100 a barrel. That's going to screw the Ukrainians because now he can perpetuate his war more and get money. Again, this is just between Trump and all his people around him. They're just flailing. They don't know
They
what
are
to do.
flailing. Yeah.
They got caught in a stupidity lie without a plan, and they didn't listen to the people that should know better. And the worst thing about it is they got rid of all the adjutant generals. They got rid of a lot of the support staff whose job is to take plans and go, okay, guys, that's okay, but understand you have this, this, and this here. You can't do all this. So I said, basically, people will push back. What is the
Right.
one thing that Trump hates and his sycophants? Pushback. They
Yeah.
don't want to hear that their great plan has holes in it. So you got rid of it, and that's why you bombed the school, because you didn't have the people that go, you might not want to go here. And then conversely, that's what the Israelis do. Let's be frank, Netanyahu does not hit military installations. He hits civilian targets
Right.
because to them, he wants to wipe them out. He is a genocidal maniac. He is that way. He killed 70,000 civilians in Palestine. There are 7,000 dead in Lebanon, a million displaced. I think the death toll up to might be in Iran, it's 2,000 civilians. And here's the thing, we have latched on to a war criminal who has no compunction of dropping a bomb on schools, on churches, anywhere, apartment houses, because he doesn't see them as people. And him and Trump have that in common because Trump doesn't see brown people as people.
Well,
That's where we're stuck.
that's the problem I have with this whole Israeli thing. You know, as I've said before, I'm not anti-Semitic because I have trouble with Israel any more than I'm anti-American because I have trouble with Donald Trump. We have problems with leaders, but we see what they do, the genocide, you know, the attacking Iran and attacking everybody around them. But they're like our favorite son. We give them money. We take money. Everybody in Congress gets money from them. They're hands off. Oh, God, you don't want to touch them because it says in the Bible you can't touch them and you're anti Semitic. But we've got a real problem with Israel
Mhm.
because they do whatever the fuck they want. They take our money, and then everybody's supposed to say they're great people. And again, it's not about the Israeli people. It's about the Israeli government, just like it's
Right,
about the Israeli, or just like it is about the American government. We got
right,
good people in this country, but Donald Trump sucks. He's violent. He's corrupt. He's criminal. He's cruel. And
right.
the same can be said for Benjamin Netanyahu. We both have the same problem, but I don't know why Israel gets this pass on fucking everything, and then we
Um,
give them money on top of it.
and here's the thing: this we have to look at it this way. Someone, a creator, was talking about that there are letters and communiques coming out from the Gulf states saying that, look, you need to stop this. We're getting hammered. UAE, Oman, Bahrain, they're getting hammered. All right, they're losing their infrastructure. They own a lot of our bonds. They have a lot of
I
investment in the
know,
United
I
States.
know they do. Yeah.
There are warnings coming out from them going, we're going to pull everything out. If they pull everything out, that's going to be an economic disaster. And I was watching the creator said, well, this is going to be a problem in the United States. What are we going to do? And this is the first thing I thought, even though I know it's going to make everyone suffer. Good, fucking good. And the reason I'll say that is that, like the Israeli people who kept Netanyahu propped up, enough of them, a minority, it's true, it's a minority there. Our minority did the same. We have to understand the fucking consequences of an election. It is
Yeah.
time. And the only way that's going to get through is something disastrous like to happen. They've been skirting the edge. They've been skirting the edge. It happened in COVID. That's how we got rid of them the first time. This
Right.
time, it's got to be more drastic. And it's like, why would you? Because we, guys, I understand what everyone's going to say. I didn't vote for him. Yeah, we did it to ourselves. We're stuck with this. And if they get the biggest consequences, they can't gaslight it. They can't sell it another way. You fucked up. You have to pay the price, and you'll pay that price in November.
But
That's, I
we
mean, it's the
said
best thing.
we said that after the election that people still voted for Donald Trump in spite of all we knew about him, his criminality,
Yeah,
stupidity. We voted for him, and we surmised at that point that the only way for this to end and some dumb fucks to learn is a catastrophic crash.
right,
And like you say, I hope it does that. And people have to understand it's not that he hopes that something terrible happens to the country, or I think that I want something terrible to happen to the country. If I understand that it's going to take a crash to fucking do it, to finally get free of this shit, let's get it done now. The
right,
faster, the better.
right. And we're talking about elections, and I saw your video on Kate. Oh God, Kate Abdullah, oh
Abagazala, yeah.
Ghazala. I went down the rabbit hole with her. Okay. Um, and I started watching her videos. I didn't realize she was that one person that when ICE first showed up in Chicago, she was in their face and got tossed around like a rag doll. Got
Yeah.
arrested several times. She stands up. Um, she is. I was listening and watching some of her things. She's exactly what we need in Congress. And
You
I'm
know,
in Georgia. Go ahead,
that's
sir.
what I was gonna. That's what exactly what I was saying. You know, I heard about her, and somebody said she's really good, and then I saw her on TikTok, and then I did a deeper dive watching her. You're
Hmm.
exactly right. If you want to see the prototype for how Democrats should be going in the future, she's it because she's progressive and she's smart, she's articulate, she's young, she's 26 years old. Um, but she and I have some similarity. She doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't
Exactly.
care. She just says
Exactly.
what, and she's got kind of an influencer feel about her. I think she may be an influencer, but what she's creating right now is exactly what I've said we need to do because Donald Trump did it in 2015 and 2024. She's creating a brand for herself. Somebody you can
Exactly.
get behind, go, fuck yeah, let's do it. And you're right. People should watch that election. I hope she wins that, so she is the
Hmm.
candidate. Because the other two Democratic candidates aren't terrible, but
They're
they're more
APAC people.
stylish. Well, yeah, they're APAC, but they're more stodgy, old school
Oh,
politicians, and we don't need that anymore. We
yeah.
need
The woman.
fighters. You know
The
what the funny thing
woman.
is? If she
Good.
ends up in Congress, if she ends up in Congress, she's going to make AOC look establishment.
Yeah. Fortunately, but she's in watching some of their stuff. The money you're talking about, dark money. That dark money is not only coming from the right wing; it's coming from APAC. APAC has done about $1 million for David Bliss, who is the mayor of Evanston, running for that seat, and
Right.
he is. If you want a telltale sign, they did a three-way debate. And the question they asked, if you're in Congress, will you vote for Hakeem Jeffries as your majority leader? Before they even finished the question, she put up Kate put up the sign that said nope, because they had nope and yes sign.
Right.
The other person, the female, put up the sign nope, but kind of like this. David Bliss turned the sign sideways. Fuck
Yeah.
that. That's what Democrats do every motherfucking time. All right? No. See, that's not what we want. And that's the thing. They want it both ways. They want to get their money and get power. But right now, we're fighting something that is bigger than that bullshit, and APAC will eat you again.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They will eat you. And APAC is not representing the Israeli people. They're representing everything that Netanyahu stands for. Let's be clear, okay? Everything Netanyahu stands for, the Islamophobia, the Zionist beliefs, is APAC. That's why they hate Mandami. That's why they hate someone like her, because she's standing up saying the Palestinians is a genocide. I don't give a fuck. It's the truth.
You know
And
what? You know
she's
why else? You know why else
why
they hate her?
she's Palestinian.
Even she's Palestinian.
Mm.
She's an atheist, but she's
Okay,
Palestinian by heritage,
right.
and of course she's not that brown, but she's Palestinian, and they're going to throw out, well, she's a Muslim. She's not a Muslim. She's an atheist. Fuck that. But um, she is just the kind of energy the Democrats need to appeal to young people.
Yeah. And I think I'm hoping now she's winning last poll.
I
She's
heard she
3
was
points.
tied.
No,
Uh,
well, last time I checked was she's 3 points out, plus or minus three. So technically, she's tied with him. So we're going to see what happens on Tuesday. But if you're in the Chicago area in it's Illinois District 9, you're going to vote for this girl. Vote for her,
Yeah,
because what I hear, because the one thing she said, because she said something that I thought was fucking brilliant. She goes, "I'll tell you what I want. I want everyone. I want to tax people with large incomes to the point there's no such thing as billionaires. But I
yeah,
can't get that. Then what I want to do is tax them where they carry the support, and anyone after a certain amount of money doesn't pay income taxes. So you
right,
don't have that on you." And I'm listening to her going, "Okay, I don't agree with both, but I understand that she's willing to compromise. She's not saying my way or the highway." That's a smart move. So the point is, we're seeing a lot of those people everywhere running in the Democratic primaries. Well, a lot of them lose, yes. A lot of them win, yeah. But what you're also seeing is the panic, not only from the Republican side, but from the Democratic establishment.
right.
Look, guys, Mike and I are old enough to know what the Democratic establishment means. But it used to have balls. It used to have oomph.
Well,
Now they
yeah,
just
yeah.
gave in.
Well, I don't know that it's they gave in. It's just that they're the same, but times have changed. We
Exactly.
need a different kind of energy. I mean, what they're doing is typical Democrat, but we're not in typical times. So that's why you need some extraordinary people. The funny thing about this young woman, she's 26 years old. That's pretty young. But if you listen to her talk, she's smart as hell.
I
I
didn't even
mean,
know
if
she
you
was
think,
26 till you said it. I really
yeah,
didn't.
I mean, if you think the kid in Texas is smart, she's just as smart as he is.
Yep. So, I mean, that I just brought, because that's what is going on. That's a product of everything that's around us. Because the good thing about the Republicans and Trump is that they're narrow minded
Right.
and they keep thinking the same things are going to work. Again, here in Georgia, trying to watch the baseball game last night, and the advertising for the primary is disgusting. There's an independent Republican guy named Rick Jones. A rich guy's come in out of nowhere, messing with the Republican primary. So he has money, and he wants to be the new Trump, and he's 77, and he's talking the same bullshit. And then one of his stands is, "Oh yeah, no transgender surgeries for children." Motherfucker, there are no transgender surgeries for children. Again, fucking point. And then right after that commercial comes a commercial for Burt Young, who has been anointed by Trump. Do I see Burt Young? Do I hear Burt Young talk about his policies? No, it's all Trump on the screen.
Yeah.
Trump rallies. Trump loves me. That's what they're selling here in Georgia. I'm going to say this straight up. The majority ain't going to buy this shit. We're
Well, that's
tired.
that's
And
that's that's my
good.
question. Donald Trump has always endorsed people. They're fighting over it in Texas, trying to get Trump's endorsement. But when you look at what this country's going through now with the economy, with the prices, with the war, with the Epstein files, is Donald Trump's endorsement still that valuable? I think we'll find out in this primary season going into the midterms, but I don't know that it's that helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. And in that's the thing. Because you and I, we've done enough lives. We talked to enough people, and I was doing a live with, it was with T, and Ed came at the end. And and sometimes we go off and then we start talking about baseball, because occasionally you have to get off shit. You
Yeah.
have to, just have. So we're talking about baseball. So we're talking about the World Baseball Classic. We're talking about, I was talking about being a Dodger fan all my life. Talking about Vin Scully. We got in there, and one of the people in there had said, why are you guys talking to baseball? I can't sleep at night. We need to find a solution. And I get it. I really do. And I thought of, because I am a fucking nerd, I will say this about Dune, and I've read the book several times, and the movies are great, the new ones. There's a mantra called fear is about mantras against litany against fear. And the first thing the line says, fear is the mind killer. That's what it
Yeah.
does. It kills your mind. It makes you freeze. And the idea is to face your fear and let it flow over you. Then you can see a path through it. And right now, yeah, we should. It is fearful out there. We got a psycho running this country, a psychopath running this country, not only committing technically ethnic cleansing in around the world in Iran, but ethnic cleansing in here at home,
Yeah.
where he goes on Fox the other day. Did you see that Brian Kilmeade interview or
I
pieces of
did
it?
not. I did not.
So he gets on with them talking his shit. They start bringing up immigration, and Trump says the reason we have to continue with the immigration, because you have to face it, they're all nasty people. And brown people, this is a quote, brown people have a genetic um, a genetic tinge towards violence. So that's because it's about their genetics. So we need to get them out of here because of they're brown. Okay, so we stepped to the next level of fascism. That's what the
Right.
Nazis did with genetics. Okay, he said this. Do you hear anything from the mass media about it?
No.
Nothing. Will they question him about it? No. Will someone ask Carol Levitt about it? No. And all you got to see is what they're doing on the streets of Minneapolis. And then they showed up in Burlington, Vermont. Have you seen those videos? Because they're not a
I've
mass
not.
media.
I've not
Oh,
seen the videos, but I can imagine it
oh.
didn't go well.
So apparently they're chasing this guy, as ICE does, trying to do a traffic stop, which you're not supposed to do as an ICE agent. You're not fucking supposed to do that. So the guy's running away because, of course, he's in fear for his life. He is in fear for his life. Those detention centers are basically becoming death camps. And
Yeah.
until we have to deal with that. And when we open those over, a lot of people are going to go to jail. A lot of people are going to end up on the wrong end of a rope from this shit. But he's running. He runs into several cars, and he runs into this house, and without a warrant, they break into this house, or they start gathering to break into this house, and the neighborhood just stood up, and they stood in front of this house, and they had to call the police, Burlington police, and state troopers of Vermont to clear a path for ICE to go in there. And even when they did, people got in their face.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it, and then it got even worse. These people in Burlington, they were just like, no. And then they're out again today in the neighborhood, and they got in their face. There's a video of this guy who's yelling at an ICE agent. They're backing away, and he's wearing a coat. Then he opens it up, and you see it's a United States Marine Corps sweatshirt. And he's pointing at it, and he says, come on, what are you going to do? Arrest it? These people. That's the thing. One person said, he goes, you're in our community. We don't want you in our community. Get the fuck out.
Well, because
So
we're in this DHS shutdown, are they not getting paid right now, do you think?
they have money left over for this. See, that's the fallacy they're feeding us now. This is the new Republican thing. They can do a vote in DHS and they already have proposed this. Democrats have done this to fund the Coast Guard, TSA, FEMA. They put a bill on that, but ICE is separate because ICE has money. ICE has a lot of $1 billion still. They're running on
Yeah.
that money from the big, beautiful bill. This was
Right.
continuing funding, adding more money to an already bloated budget. So they said we can do that, but we still can negotiate about ICE. Okay. Republicans turned it down. So
Yeah.
what they said is okay, let's do a voice vote or voice confirmation on only one of them. So they brought up the Coast Guard. Republicans said no. They brought up TSA so the airports can get funded. They said no. They brought up FEMA. They said no. Because Republicans want the whole thing. So now they're blaming, they're going, well, your airport is 3 hours. You're missing flights. That's the Democrats' problem because they won't fund DHS. They leave out the part they can, but you guys won't let us because you want
Right.
ICE to be the same thing. And I don't think that is taking off. Is it me or is the narrative about the war and ICE not working for them now for Republicans?
No,
Because I don't
no,
see it working for them.
no. It's not working for him. And if you're somebody who's gonna go on the airlines and gonna fly, and let's just say spring break's coming up,
Mhm.
you got two issues. You got TSA not getting paid, some people not coming in. Donald Trump saying, "Go to work, I'll take care of you." Yeah, right. If Donald Trump
Right.
says he's going to take care of you and you believe that, you deserve what you get. So
Exactly.
TSA is going to be slow as fuck. And then with the oil prices, jet fuel has gone through the roof. So it's going to
Right.
cost you a ton more to go everywhere, wherever you go, a lot more than you used to. It's got to be just decimating the airline industry.
But they love Trump because he cut regulations for him. I mean,
Yeah,
and that's the thing. These There's a video of the Goldman Sachs chairman basically saying that this wealth one-sided economy can't last. Oh, you
right.
think? Because
Now you get it.
now you get it. I mean, you cannot. People need business needs customers. Let's be honest. And if you don't have customers and they don't have money to buy your stuff, your business won't thrive.
Right,
I mean, that's common fucking sense that got lost in all this Reaganomics,
right.
taking away industry, taking away, giving tax cuts to the rich. It doesn't work. And when called out, they, one person asked, when are you going to do about um, the wealth disparity? In a town hall, you know, people started shouting in a red district, tax the rich, and that guy is still on the microphone going, "Yeah, well, we've done so much because tariffs have helped the economy, and Donald Trump has done everything for you." And I'm sitting there going, "That's your message." A bunch of people are screaming, "Tax the rich," and you're going to hold to it because you think that's going to work for you. Okay, fine.
Yeah, we've
See
heard
you in
the we've
November.
heard the same arguments for years, where you can't tax the rich because they won't build new businesses, they won't do research, they won't pay their people more money, they won't
Mhm.
anyway. You give them tax-free situations, they don't reinvest the stuff, they just put it in their pocket or tag or stock buyouts or something. That's Therein lies the problem as to why this is an issue. If they would go do things, what people don't understand is when they say somebody over a certain amount, we're going to tax them at 90%. That doesn't mean they're paying 90% uh, taxes on the money they're making because they have the opportunity to get tax cuts. But those tax cuts are to do things to help the people and help the economy
Right,
and make things move. So, so what basically those taxes are an inducement for them to do the right thing that they claim they're already doing, but not. And they don't want that. They don't want to do the right thing. They want to pocket as much money as they can. They're greedy as fuck, and they just don't care if the middle class suffers for it. But like you said, you're just draining the well of your customers, and if your
right.
customers can't afford your shit, then you're in trouble too. That's so short sighted. I don't get it.
And then they go, and so then it becomes, so they turn to politics to get more and squeeze, and that's what you see with the Republican Party. I mean, you could see the Republican Party right now leaning back on the same shit that doesn't make sense. In
Yeah.
Tennessee, Republicans have decided that if you outage in the foster care system and you don't have a job or anything, they can put you in jail. Okay, where's the logic behind that? Oh, I love that Josh Hawley has showed up again and said, "Oh yeah, we're going to do misoprostol again. We're going to ban that." Okay, because that's an abortion pill. It's also a miscarriage drug for people. Also, in these states, they are working against women who have miscarriages. If you
Right.
have a miscarriage, they have to investigate it as a murder. What the fuck are you talking about? This is what they're leaning back on. They're going back to shit that doesn't help anyone, but gives people some talking points. Because these old white Christian men need control over women.
Right. Well, there's some
You
old white
guys,
women too, though, that
well,
are pretty
okay,
fucking
yeah,
despicable.
just despicable too. They're all part of the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, quick note on old. Hey, Clyburn, you've done well, Jim. I really appreciate it. Don't run for Congress at age 85,
Yeah. No
Jim.
shit.
Anoint a successor in your district because they'll win easily. But you're 85 fucking years old. Don't do it because then you end up with a Ruth Ginsburg situation. Remember that? Obama said, hey, let me appoint someone younger. Now we're fucked. Okay.
Well,
Jim, Clyburn, I know you're addicted to it. Stop.
well, and
And that's
it's not the same as the Supreme Court that somebody gets to appoint them, but what'll happen is if he dies in Congress, then we have a special election and we lose somebody for that period of time in Congress.
exactly.
Why not have some foresight? You're 86 years old. Don't I mean he's done a fine job. He's a good
Fine, Jim.
congressman, but get the fuck out. I mean,
It's
why?
it's time.
It is an addiction to power and money and attention and all that stuff, and I just don't get it. I mean, I retired basically when I was 60 years old, and I'm
Mhm.
cool with it. Now, granted, I do what I do here, and there's a certain amount of tension there, but I don't need any power. It's just
No.
I want less responsibility. I just want to fucking chill out.
Uh, I mean, if he's worried that what he says or what he does might affect, dude, you can become an elder statesman. People will listen to you, but you
Yeah,
got to have young blood in there. It's got to, and that's what a lot of people are saying. With like in Maine, Janet Mills is 77 years old. Fuck that. No, I mean
yeah,
Grant Blantier, you went after his past. He ain't showing those. Okay, sorry.
yeah. He's
It,
doing fine.
he's doing fine. The issue is like with these elections coming up, we're fighting a two-pronged war against Republicans and in our own party who got people who are so established who don't see it because they just see themselves. And that's the biggest problem. And
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest problem we have with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, Cory Booker. They can't get out of that. They can't see the bigger picture because it doesn't benefit them. And we
right.
understand that. Now, are they as far going as the Republicans? No, but you don't help. And there's going to be, Trump is already asking for $1 trillion more to persecute this war. Okay, $1 trillion. So we can't do SNAP, we can't do Medicaid, we can't do a whole bunch of things to help everyone else, but we're going to cough up $1 trillion for this war. And it's going to probably get to the House because Mike Johnson does anything. Yes, sir. No, sir. Can I have another, sir?
Yeah,
Republicans are too afraid to do anything about it. There'll be some Democrats APAC money that'll vote for it. When it gets to the Senate, will it get a vote? Will Chuck Schumer fight it? I don't know because they'll snap in and goes, "We have to protect Israel." No, no. And if they do it, if they fucking do it, all hell's going to break loose. You can't
I don't
explain that.
understand. I don't understand the contradiction. America first, but we got to protect Israel. I mean, Israel's not a poor country. Israel has nuclear weapons. Why do we have to protect them?
And yeah, and that's how they're going to frame it. And here's the thing: $1 trillion to persecute a war, okay, but it was too expensive to do USAID, which actually does more than a war.
Right.
You cut that, which fucked farmers, but starved a whole bunch of people across the world because it was too expensive. But we can cough up $1 trillion. Fucking
Yeah.
spending what 12? 12 billion. How much is $3 billion a day right now with this war?
Exactly. And
I
they
mean,
bitched
and
about the Ukraine war, which was costing us 5 billion a month.
yeah, I
Now
mean,
this
it's
one's
like
going to cost us 100 billion a month.
I'm on, and that's the thing. It's the hypocrisy that they keep trying to sell us. And I saw, you know, CNN. Look, by the way, guys, Trump is upset because the coverage in the war isn't favorable. No,
Right.
what they want is our great leader Donald Trump has led us into another grand victory. You want media to act like North Korea, okay? They won't do it even in the places that like CBS News. They have to report what's going on, and
Yeah.
they see that as not anti-American, anti-Trump.
Right.
And so when they report on casualties, report on damage, they see that as anti-Trump. It's bad. Pete Hesketh said it. You dumbass going after
Well,
CNN. They're just
yeah, you know what?
asking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're talking about Pete. You're talking about Pete Hegseth. He was doing a press conference. They were asking about the war. Somebody stands up and said, "What about this U.S. Tomahawk missile that blew up this school and killed
Mm.
168 kids?" He didn't say, "Yeah, it was a mistake," or "thoughts and prayers." He didn't say anything like that. He said, "Why do you keep talking about that? You're just trying to make the president look bad. Let's talk about the positive things in the war." "Well, you stupid bitch, there is no positive things. Give me one positive thing. Oil prices going up, Israel getting bombed the piss out of, our embassies getting bombed, our
Iraq.
military installments getting, you know, what the fuck? There is no good things to
Oh,
report
and
on. Want
and
to
on a
make shit
side note,
up.
people dying.
Yeah.
Just to put that in as a side note, civilians die. We keep forgetting. They keep thinking when it comes to war, and it tells you how they think. I just saw a video where the White House social media put out a video showing NFL hits. And you remember when we were growing up, they used to have the NFL films that had the greatest hits. You would get
Yeah.
those. All right. They took those, and after a hit, they'll show a bombing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people like Ray Lewis just go, "Oh hell no, stop!" But that's the way they see it. They see it as not. There's no humanity attached to it. It's a fucking game to them. It's
Yeah.
not a fucking game, and that's why they keep tamping down the casualties. They haven't officially, maybe they have. When we see people see this, maybe I'm wrong. They haven't officially named the last 6 people who died in that KH 135C crash. You
I
know
thought
where
they
some of
did.
them, well, they might have, because the first, I think they might have done it officially this morning, because last time I saw the only way we got names the other night was that the families were telling them. The
Yeah.
families were letting it out. And they're tamping down on that. They're tamping down on the families. Trump going, talking about the the families like, yeah, I spoke to them and they said, finish the war. No, they did not.
They
I
didn't say that
fucking did
shit.
not say that. All right. And I know they haven't spoken out to you because maybe some are supporters, but I bet a lot of them have been warned not to. I know how these people think and work, and it's going to get worse. If you think the Iranians are not sitting there waiting for American Marines to step foot on any part of Iran,
Yeah.
you're out of your fucking mind.
Well, didn't they send like 2,200 or 3,000 people in the general area? They're on
We
the
have a
ground.
we have an expeditionary force on its way. Like I said, they pulled it from Japan. It's a full unit, 2,500 Marines, 2,500 sailors to support. Talking about 5,000 people, 5,000 military members. So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, the purpose of Karg Island, because it's the main oil port for the Iranians. What good is to hold it?
Yeah.
You can't do anything with it, and it just becomes a fixed target. I mean, it's just dumb. It's a
Well,
dumb move.
It's the same attitude that they have. We got to own the libtards. We'll do anything. We'll say anything just to make them look bad. Donald Trump isn't about prosecuting this war. He's about trying to win the narrative and trying. See, we did this. We did this to Iran. They should be scared and bet. Donald Trump doesn't have any strategy. His only strategy that he uses is, "I'm going to do something horrible to you, and maybe you'll give up." And that's what Donald Trump is saying. He's saying they're ready to agree to a ceasefire. I would be surprised if the Iranians would
No.
ever offer a ceasefire. We're talking about a whole different mentality. These people will die for their cause.
Yeah,
They will die
because
for the
right,
cause.
you bombed the shit out of them. You
Yeah,
killed their leader. Okay, who lost his whole family. So the point being is, even those people who wanted the regime change, they're looking up at the sky and going, "We don't want this." And this is from America causing us pain and suffering. I mean, you set back, and then that's only that. The relationships with Saudi Arabia, Oman, UAE, Dubai, that's all shot
yeah,
because now your stupidity caused this. And speaking of narrative, they keep trying to spin the narrative. On the shows today, they're trying to spin the narrative now as we had to do this or they were going to use a nuclear weapon. Well, how are you going to do that when you told us you obliterated nuclear weapons? And
yeah,
intelligence saying we don't have it. I mean, on the CNN, they had CNN won't have her for long, but Political Girl was on CNN on the debate, and I'll
yeah.
watch those video clips because they had one chick talking about, yeah, we had to do it because of nuclear war and all that. She goes, really? And she just laid it out. And when she's trying to lay out facts, she's trying to interrupt her. And she said, well, you support
Of
the Iranian?
course.
No. She goes, no. And let me make my point. They're trying to spin the narrative is either they were a threat to the United States, which they were not. Okay. They keep bringing up, well, they've killed 46 people over time. Yeah, that's terrorist organizations, but that's decades of shit. There was no immediate threat from the Iranians. There was no immediate threat of nuclear weapons because we knew that already from negotiations. Oman was close to getting a deal done with them, which was just like the Obama deal. We never had a problem until he pulled out of the deal and fucked
Yeah,
with
don't
them.
don't tell us about the genocide that Iran has committed and then
Thank
just
you.
disregard Israel.
Exactly.
So
Don't
you're
don't
good with genocide depending on who did it. That's
exactly. And don't
ridiculous.
yeah, don't spin that. There let's see what else is it? They they're just all over it. This, that, this, that. And no one's buying your shit. Really, no one's buying it unless you're really
You know,
hardcore MAGA.
the thing that I find hilarious is Donald Trump says we bombed everything, we defeated them. They're going to ask for a ceasefire. They're going to agree to a ceasefire. Um, I never thought they'd shut down the Strait of Hormuz, but now they're shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to send escorts boats through there. And somebody finally told him that's a fucking dumb idea. Put a
No,
target on military boats. And now he's saying we need our allies to come help. Do we have any allies left?
no.
I don't think so.
He said the French are going to do. The French go none. French aren't involved in that. And here's the thing: this is what the world needs to do. Okay, if the Iranians are honestly, if I'm the Gulf states, knowing this is a disaster, I would expel the American and Israeli ambassadors. And
Yeah,
I will tell Iran, we will stay neutral through this shit. Just leave us alone. I mean, all the Gulf states, they don't need this shit. Okay.
yeah.
Because they don't need American money. They don't need American influence. All right. Um, Saudis should do the same thing. Maybe not expel, but tell them, hey, we're out of this.
Right.
Okay. Um,
He's even going to the EU.
yeah, that's the thing. And the EU should go, sir, we're not involved in this because you like to hear sir. Okay, sir, 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 we're not involved in this. We're fine. We'll get oil somewhere else. And the Iranians said they will accommodate us. So no, you're on your own. And then the same time, those Gulf states will warn Trump if we don't back up, we're taking out our money. And the point is, you wanted isolationism? You guys wanted America first? You want us out of America world business? Here you go. And if that happens, and there's nothing that leaves just America and Israel out to hang out to dry, it's going to be he's going to have to basically surrender because they're not going to help you. There's no reason. There was no reason to because you already told them early in the war when Britain was trying to say, "Hey, we can use that." You told them go fuck off. We never need you before. We don't need you now. Cool. You told the EU that. You told NATO that before. That NATO is a waste. Okay, cool. Turkey is going. We have nothing to do with this. The
Yeah.
Turks, because a couple of men, we don't want anything to do with this. Okay, that's his problem. And that's what they have to do in no certain terms and watch
Well,
it fall apart.
and if Iran says to other countries, EU included, listen, just stay out of it. We'll get you your oil. It'll be fine. Because they're still
Mhm.
going through the Strait of
Right.
Hormuz. So Donald Trump would have to clog the Strait of Hormuz to stop Iran from doing it, which he can't do.
No.
But if they said to the EU, listen, we'll get you the oil you need. Just stay out of this shit. Then what does Donald Trump say? What are you going to do? You're going to put more tariffs on? You're going to talk badly about him? You're going to write him a strongly worded letter? I mean, he's put himself in a situation where he can't win because
Nope.
he's got nothing left. He took everything away. There's nothing left to give. And these people don't like him anyway because we have this situation because of him. If there's any turmoil or stress about this shit, they blame it on Donald Trump. I don't care
And
what anybody says.
and domestically, I mean, so they're not only that narrative, but they're JD Vance came out of whatever hole he was out of, and they were talking about gas prices. And the first thing out of his mouth was, "It's Biden's fault. It's Biden." I mean, the gas was so expensive with Biden. Dude, I'm going, really? And now the other narrative that MAGA chuds are coming up with, um, well, you told us not to blame Biden for gas prices. Why are you blaming Trump for gas prices? Because Biden didn't start a goddamn war in the Middle East in the middle of an oil with oil involved with Iran. That's the difference. His action actually caused that. You
Yeah,
dumb
absolutely.
fucks. Joe Biden was trying to work through things that didn't work, that he had no involvement in, like um, uh, logistic shortages because of COVID. They were working their way out of it. He did nothing that caused the prices. Donald Trump deliberately started a war that caused this. And you cannot spin this. You
No, you can't.
can't. And that's the thing that's driving them fucking nuts. They're looking for distractions now. But here's the thing, you got the biggest distraction. No, barely anyone's talking about Epstein anymore.
Yeah,
Okay, you
we
got what you
will.
wanted. Now you got
Yeah.
the economy.
Now you're gonna have to, yeah, yeah, and you can spin it any way you want, but the facts are the facts, and people are suffering. Did you hear what Donald Trump said? His latest spin on oil prices.
This should
He
be good.
said, he said, listen, this country produces more oil than anybody else in the world. If oil prices are high, that means we make more money. That's his spin. He
Who
doesn't.
is this
He
we,
forgets the fact.
Kimasabi?
Yeah, rich people, because we're still paying the high prices. It's not a win for us in any
Oh,
stretch of the imagination.
and
But
also,
that's how desperate he is to try to switch the narrative.
and also, we're talking about raw oil. Where the refined oil is what's $200 a fucking barrel, close
Right.
to $100 a barrel. I mean, they think because country produces oil that it's their oil. No, it goes in the market.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a connected world market, and that's a problem we've had since way back with the original oil crisis. I remember that, people talking about it. We don't need their oil, but we can build our own. No, dudes, you don't get it. Even back in the 70s and 80s, we knew this. We set that up that way. The problem was we were controlling it in the
Yeah.
50s and the 60s. And that's, one of the reasons that Iran's where we're at, because in the late 50s, the oil companies were trying to fuck the government and they wanted to nationalize the oil. Here comes the Shah by our help and created
Yeah.
this entire mess. So, where are we right now? Well, to be honest, guys, we're in a world of shit. We know that. Okay.
The war's going to go on for a while.
Yeah. Or he'll quit. One or the other is going to happen. It's going to go a long time. It's like cooking calamari. If you ever cook squid, you either do it really quickly or because it gets tough, or if you're going to do it longer, you got to do it for a while before it gets tender again. That's
Right.
where we're at with this war. Because once we get past, I think next week, we're tough. We're screwed at that point.
Well, well, people suggest that he might just get bored and walk away from it.
Oh
And
God, I
under
hope.
normal circumstances, I would say he would do that, but I don't think that fixes it because now, if he does that, then Iran can focus solely on Israel and bomb the piss out of them because they aren't going to stop just because Donald Trump decided to pull out. Now,
Well,
Israel's going to be up Donald Trump's ass about why are you leaving us hanging here? Why aren't you helping us? And that's why I'm not sure Donald Trump will pull out. He's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place.
but
He wants to pull out, but he can't pull out.
and Trump also is known for
I
leaving
just
messes
wish his
behind.
dad had.
Yeah, which yeah, but Trump is known for backing away stuff and just let it. I mean, Venezuela, it's just there now. We did
Yeah.
our thing, and who cares
What did
anymore?
we accomplish other than Donald
Nothing.
Trump
It's
got to
but he
steal
walked
some
away from
oil?
that mess. He just left it a mess. He took some oil, put it in his pocket. That's it. We're done. We're finished there. And I think that was one of the things he wanted to do with Iran. So now he can do that. I declare victory. We're done. Everyone do about the business.
But
Okay, we're
what's he get?
talking. He don't care. What he gets, peace of mind. And if the Israelis go, what about us? And I'm going to use that famous line from National Lampoon's Animal House. You fucked up. You trusted us. You know. I mean, and don't and even with the Israel lobby or the APEC lobby, Trump doesn't give a fuck. Why? Because he's making money. He doesn't care. His family's made $1.4 billion since he became president.
Yeah.
Where? From us.
Yeah. It's out of our
Jared Kushner.
pockets.
Jared Kushner is not. He's envoy to the Middle East, along with that real estate asshole Steve Witkoff. I don't even know why Michael Rubio even bothers to sit in to be National Secretary of State. He doesn't use him as a Secretary of State. There's no
No.
diplomatic corps, just those two guys.
He's a
And
shoe model.
yeah, a shoe model for bad shoes. And the point was like in the CNN I was telling you about with Political Girl, whoever that woman is was saying that we had, they want to negotiate, and she goes, "That's not what Steve Witkoff said." And she goes, "Oh yeah, Steve Witkoff, the real estate guy. Yeah, right." I mean, that's what they hold on to. Jared Kushner, in addition to negotiations, is basically shaking people down for money.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
absolutely.
shaking him down for his fund. He's shaking him down for money. And here's the thing: if the Gulf states pull back, like I was saying, which I think would be a smart move for them, and basically tell Jared Kushner, if you want to see another dime for us, you better get your boy in check. You
Yeah.
know he will tell Trump there is nothing in it for us anymore, and he will back out because remember, transactional.
Right.
And so if Kushner comes to him and goes, Daddy, we got nothing anymore. Okay, it's costing us money. Oh, okay. He would do, and he would walk away, declare victory, and start working on affordability and the ethnic cleansing here in the United States, which is
But he does. He
continuing.
can't. He can't walk away unscathed though, because like you said, wherever he leaves a mess behind. But you're leaving a mess in the Middle East and with the
Right.
oil industry and
Hmm.
now that stuff. Just because he walks out of there and because he pulls Americans out of there, that doesn't fix anything.
No, but
It's just
that's
going to
someone
make it
else's
easier
problem to
for them to
fix.
shut down the. Well, it is, but it isn't because it's not going to bring oil prices down. They're going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz and
Hmm.
punish. You know, Iran doesn't want a ceasefire, and
No, they
if
don't want a
Donald
ceasefire. They
Trump,
want revenge. They want him to suffer. Bottom
yeah,
line, we know this. I know that. But you
well,
got
they
to
want to
understand,
kill him.
well, Don't
God
promise me a
bless
good
them.
time. Just
Yeah.
do it, okay? I mean, I always say this right here. I mean, do I want the president to die? No. Do I want to assassinate him? No. But fuck, it would make life a lot easier. I mean, that's a
I don't
sad
want him to
fact.
die. I don't want him to die. I just want him incapacitated and suffering mightily. That's all I really
But
need.
eh, and that's the thing. You can listen to him, you can watch him, and he is not all there, and we're dealing with that.
Yeah.
And and somehow this is kind of giving him some kind of life. Now he's he's enjoying this because he feels like he's a real top military guy, even though he hates the military. But I think if Americans, if he puts boots in the ground and like they get fucking wiped out, it's like a total disaster. Okay, I mean absolute, which I wouldn't wish, and I hope whoever has family members and they've been deployed, God, I hope not. But if he gets totally fucking wiped out, if they put boots in the ground, even the Republicans will have to acknowledge we have to fucking do something.
Yeah.
Even the worst Republicans, because at that point, there's nothing you can say to those families and to the American people to justify that, because we're not getting anything out of it. There's nothing there to accomplish other than someone's ego and someone's pocketbook. And Americans know this. The
Yeah.
majority of us do. And it's the minority who are still, you know, we let them in charge and they're going to ride it to the bitter end because they're in. We're in. We're fucked. Cool. Let's just ride it out because what do we got to lose now? To be honest, what do they got to lose? Republicans still think they can win in November. Some do. Some are determined. Some think that it's going to that this war will show that Trump is strong and people that no. No. When gas hits on a national average $5 a gallon, an average,
Yeah.
okay,
And
you're
we're headed
fucked.
that way.
Yeah, we're headed that way, and you're fucked. We haven't wait till tonight when the first early futures come out. You're going to start seeing that. There's not enough oil in the strategic reserve to make a difference. Sorry. And people don't think you're smart enough to do anything. That's another thing that Wall Street understand. They know he's not smart enough. They
Right.
know he's screwed. He's going to screw the pooch. So if he just walks away from it, to be honest, of all the worst, rock in a hard place, one of them he's going to get hurt either way. And well, everyone will call you names, talk all that, but I think he would say, okay, if I walk away and then try to smooth stuff out later, it'll be okay. But I won't have the uh, military, the deaths on his hands. But knowing Trump, he might just say, fuck it, I'm into the end. I'm going to prove everyone I'm right. Then, either way, he's screwed. Either way,
Well,
he's screwed.
and that's where we're at. He's still harping on 2020's election, so he doesn't like to let losses go. He's got to make it appear that he won if he walks away, and I don't
Hmm.
even know how he can even do that because nobody's going to
Impossible.
agree to that.
And that's the thing. You're in the worst case military scenario I think I've ever seen. The worst case, not even the Germans in World War One, in the depths of that, with a two front war, would probably take that situation than this situation. Because I
Yeah,
know in the Pentagon, they're just shaking their heads. They don't know what to tell this guy. The problem is they can't get past the fantasy people. The fantasy people will keep telling Trump that everything's okay. I mean,
yeah,
he opened up. He opened up that discussion with Brian Killermead, before the war started. Well, the economy was hot, everything was going well, so we decided to do this because they had nuclear weapons. All lies. And then he
yeah.
backed
It's
away on the
absolutely
nuclear
a
stuff.
lie.
Yeah, it's all lies. So he trapped himself in his fantasy world, and reality is seeped in. And Americans, the majority of us, are like, no. And I mean, and we have to talk about like Deuce. There won't be a draft. You can't write an
No.
executive order that says we're going to attract everyone. It's not going to work. Even if you got Congress to agree, literally, this country will burn down. This country will burn down. People are not going to do it. Parents aren't going to let them go. People will go to jail. It would be riots in the streets, literally worse.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. He's not going to stop the midterms. They're going to fuck with the midterms. They're going to make it harder for people. They're going to do stuff, but you're not going to stop people from voting because now people are going to plan to vote. I think that's the
Yeah.
truth. And that's the thing. When everyone wakes up every day, because I did a video, I realized Friday was Friday the 13th,
Yep.
which always was kind of cute. Everyone talked about it. Bad luck, la 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 la. I didn't hear a fucking thing about it.
No.
Why?
Well, we had a Friday the 13th last month too.
Yeah. And why? Because right now, every day is Friday the 13th.
There you go. Yeah,
Every day is
exactly.
Friday the 13th because it's like you wake up and it's like you look at the headlines, and if the headline is, you know, JD Vance is taking the oath of office, we all go, fuck, here we go again. And 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 that's where we're at, but it gets, I understand it's mind numbing. It is fucking mind numbing. The stupidity and the hurt and the pain that we deal with. And the only people who seem to be cool about it is that, like, that Trump fuck that leaked into your life. I heard some of that. I'm going, dude, really? That's how you
Yeah.
live? I
Not
mean,
even serious.
not
I
even
mean, he was an
serious.
idiot.
It was a
He
joke.
said, you said you told so many lies. Okay, tell me one. I don't know. I can't remember. Then why are you bitching about it? If you can't identify a lie, why would you call me a liar?
Because this is all about, because a lot of them still are about owning the libtards because they do not see this as an ethical situation. That's the thing.
Well,
They have broken. Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
will tell you this: if you want to own a libtard,
Hmm.
one of my lives is not the place to fucking go.
No, and
Because if
again,
not me, everybody else, you or TJ or anybody,
oh
they'll
no,
fucking hammer them.
they don't. They look. I've had lives. I don't have as many people as you have, but I get up to like maybe 30, 40 people in a live,
Yeah,
and I get maybe one or two of those assholes, and I block them. But the majority leave me alone because
yeah.
you
They
don't
don't
want
want
to.
to fight with somebody.
No, you don't want to fight because here's the thing. I'm not going to fight you. I'm just going to say you're an idiot. Bye. Because I can't debate stupidity. You
Well,
can't fix stupid.
the only option they have is to talk louder and longer than whoever they're talking to, and that doesn't work with people like you and me because we can talk for fucking ever and we can talk louder and we
And
won't shut up.
what I despise now on news shows is that either they have, like, a MAGA, and they have someone who's not MAGA, but when the person's not MAGA trying to make a point, you always have the MAGA person screaming over them while
Yeah,
they're trying to make their point. You don't let them make their point. Why? Because you know they're telling the truth. You know
yeah. And you got
they're
no answer.
countering. You have no answer, and the only answer is to get angry and yell and scream stupidity. And it's just old. And that's what I'm
I
hoping. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I saw something this past week that maybe a sign that they're starting to get too much pressure on this war thing, and they're trying
Hmm.
to move away from Donald Trump. I don't know if you heard that it was leaked out that JD Vance was skeptical about the war, doesn't necessarily agree with the war. Knowing the war is kind of a pivot point for people in this country, it seems to me that they're trying to set JD up to be not the warmonger, the guy who had a clearer thought about the war. So when they actually do get rid of Donald Trump, people will be angry with Donald Trump and be happy that more of a dove is in there, like JD Vance, which is stupid. But
Yeah, I
the
know.
fact that they made that effort tells me there might be something going on behind the scenes.
I mean, everyone's talking about, yeah, but when he came out of his little hole, he talked shit again, stupidity.
Yeah,
So he just kind
true.
of killed it. That's the thing. If you're going to do that with JD Vance, Don't let him talk. Don't make him appearance. Don't let because as soon as he comes out, he does the opposite,
Yeah.
and he makes everyone hate him again. I
Yeah.
mean, you talk about guys' prices. You go, yeah. Well, when Biden and as soon as you said that, it's over. You
Yeah.
sound stupid. And that's the thing about Vance is that everyone goes, "Oh, when Vance comes in, he's gonna be worse because he'll solidify." No, when Vance comes in, you ain't seen chaos yet because no one
No.
likes him, and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't
I
know what
think
to
that
do. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I think that's what the Republicans are concerned about. They got Donald
Mm,
Trump, who's a nutcase. He still has some support, but they want to get rid of him. But we have such a weak vice president that nobody likes. It's not a great alternative. It's
no,
not going to save the Republican Party by any stretch of the imagination. I'll be honest with you. Everybody worries about a JD Vance being the president being as bad as Donald Trump. I think the best thing that could possibly happen to destroy the Republican Party is let JD Vance be president. He'll
right.
fuck it up even worse.
And they gutted the system. They've gutted all the support systems because let's be honest, everything that they took out of the government was there to check the executive
Yeah,
branch. They call
right,
it budget saving, but they haven't. They spent more money than any administration in history.
right.
They have in this time period. Um, again, how can you take serious um, a defense department that spends $93 billion on nothing between ribs,
Lobsters and
crabs, and all? I mean, you hear that and you go, and again, if you had $93 billion to spend, you have soldiers, you have military members you can give bonuses to. You could have done something that would have made you look good, but they don't think like that. They think greedily. It's what can we do for ourselves? That's
knowing
sad.
what we know about that money that was spent
Mhm.
frivolously. If this was a normal DOJ, there would be an investigation and there would be some
Right,
prosecutions because that is a misappropriation of government
huge.
funds. Yeah, it's huge.
I mean, not it wasn't even. You could say a lot of defense contractors are that way, contracts, but at least it's
Yeah,
under you're buying something, even if it's an inflated price.
right.
You're just spending money. And again, they love to spend money on things that don't matter to the American people. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, war is not a good thing for the American people in this situation. It's not
Yeah.
good for us. And our reputation is shot. Our reputation as a power in this world is shot. And it only took them less than 2 years, 2 years, yeah, less a year and a half to basically decimate the American standing in the world.
Well,
That
how do you think people feel? We don't have the ACA subsidies. A bunch of people don't have health care anymore. And if they do have health care, they can't afford it. But our Defense Department is buying 93 billion or million or whatever it is of lobsters and just little perks for the elite.
mhm.
People don't like the elite anyway, and they're proving to be the elite of the elite. And people don't buy into that, especially if they're suffering.
And but yeah, people don't like it, but I get a lot of people are going, what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? Yeah, and I get it because the people that should do something about it won't do anything about it. Hence comes back to, and everything's going to round back to this. What's going to happen in the next few months? We are here in the middle of March, the Ides of March, as this is being taped, recorded, taped. God, that tells you how old I am. Um, they so we got March, we got April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So we got 8 months to the election, give or
Right,
take.
right.
And that 8 months are going to be a tough ride. I'll be
Yeah, it
honest,
is.
because it's going to be a tough ride. There could be a total economic collapse, which is maybe not a total collapse, but a mess that they can't handle. There's going to be a lot of suffering. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming on. But what we have to do is remember you got to have to look at your own situation and kind of protect your own to an extent as this
Absolutely.
goes, as this moves forward. And the hardest thing, as I think I comment about that person that was saying, well, how do I handle it? The hardest thing is that the best thing about being MAGA is that you have no empathy. You don't give a fuck.
Right.
Your only thing is cruelty, and if someone's suffering, even if you're suffering, you're good with it. So you don't make a connection. And then if you're really rich, you don't give a fuck anyway, and you're looking to make more money even at the expense of others.
Right.
Those of us in the middle, our biggest problem is that we care.
Yeah.
We care. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't fucking care about what's going on out there. If we didn't want it better, not only for America, but for our family and our community. That's the best thing I heard with that whole Vermont protest was that this is our community. So people
Right.
are recognizing that the government is invading their area, messing with them on concepts that are dumb. Because the only reason you're going after this guy who spoke Spanish, but man, I love getting, he was a cool dude. He lived next door to me. Is these people coming from the outside to fuck with someone who's been there for years that you knew better than them? You don't give a
Yeah.
fuck about their nationality. The majority of Americans, and I'll say this, maybe I'm wrong. Some people in the comments would say I'm full of shit. The majority of Americans really don't give a fuck if you're their neighbor, what your color is, and all that. If you do care about it, you were there to begin with. But
Yeah.
the majority don't care. The majority, if you're okay with them, they're okay with you. Most of the time, they support each other. Saw that in Minneapolis. You're seeing this in Burlington. You're seeing that in a lot of cities right now when the ICE shows up. And I think that steadfastness is what's driving them crazy because they can't break it.
Right.
They can't break it. We're 8 months from the election. It's going to be a long haul, but that time will go fast. But if we stay steadfast, if we don't let them break us, because all these stories about what they want to do with the election, all these stories about, martial law, all these stories about military taking boxes and all, it's just there to dampen to break your spirit. So when things, it makes it easier for them to do something when it happens. Because
Yeah.
the easiest thing for you guys in Minneapolis to do was say, yeah, that's fine. Cool. We don't care. You could
Right.
have done that, honestly. It's the federal government. I
Yeah.
mean, they're just doing their job. Honestly, let's be straight. You guys could have done it. You didn't because it's anti-American. You knew it in
Right.
your bones.
Well, if
So
someone's violating the Constitution and those rights are something you count on, you tend to get a little pissed off about it, and people are pissed off. And I should say, people think it's all over in Minnesota, and it's
it's
really
not.
not. There's not as many ICE agents out here. There's probably about 650, and they're still doing the same things they have always been doing. So
Mhm.
the fact that the media's ignored it and not many people are talking about it anymore, it hasn't gotten a whole lot better here. The only thing that
No,
hasn't happened is some tragedy, like somebody getting shot and killed
like
or something
Peretti
like
and Renee Good, that hasn't happened again, but it will happen eventually as we come through this.
that.
Because
Unfortunately,
summer's coming, and when
yeah.
summer comes, tempers go up further. So we're going to see what happens, and if there's, we'll see how far this war goes. If you toss that in, if he really decides we're going to feed American troops into a grinder, that could affect everything else.
Well, what
There's
do you think
so
is going to
much.
happen if they send 5,000 troops into Iran? I have to believe that's going to be a fucking mess.
Man, you've seen the size of the country. You've seen the terrain. What are you going to what are
Yeah,
you going to do? How are you going to control that? There's not
you
enough.
can't.
You can't. It's impossible. Okay, well, we'll just take over Tehran. So what? I mean, there are a lot of other cities around there. It's 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 a bunch of people thinking they're playing Risk.
Yeah.
Okay, and that Risk board is tiny. No, it doesn't work like that, guys.
Well, as you
Doesn't.
said, that this is all a game to them. Like you said, there's the social media posts or commercials where you
Right.
got some cartoon guy hitting a golf ball. When it lands in the hole, they have the explosion. I don't know if you
Right.
noticed, Donald Trump is fundraising off a
Oh
video while he was
God.
at
Oh God, I saw that. Oh God, I saw that.
what do they call that again? I'm sorry. I want to say transition. It's not transition. It's when they bring the bodies back
Oh
and
yeah, the dignified
transfer.
dignified return transfer, dignified transfer.
And
In
Donald
from
Trump's
COVID.
out there and he's wearing his big USA hat. He can't even take his fucking hat off for the thing. And now they're taking videos of that to fundraise. That tells you how much respect he has
And
for
his
the
pack.
military.
Why the fuck does Donald Trump have a pack?
Yeah,
He's president of the United States. He's a lame duck president. I mean, and again, it's a grift because sucker born every minute. You guys, if you're contributing to a Donald Trump pack, okay. I mean, you get what you deserve. I mean,
yeah,
that's
you
just
do.
it's just and it's all about money. And then like I've watched these guys around in the Project 2025 people try to spin up a Christian view on it. You know, if you're a Christian, which I am appalled at what they've done to Christianity to us.
It
They
is appalling.
they appalled it, and then no, we're not buying the idea. The other narrative they want to do. Well, we're fighting Islam at home, you know, because like with Tupperville here's it, you know, talking about Mondami, you see the enemy within type of bullshit. Fuck
Yeah,
you, Tommy. All right, you can't even spell cat if I spotted you the A and the T. Okay,
yeah,
how do you fuck? And you're going to be the next governor of Alabama because sorry, Alabamans, you people would vote for a rock with an R painted on it. Sorry,
yeah.
and but they keep trying to sell this Islamophobia, this Sharia law. Fuck you, it doesn't work. Okay, none of it works. We're not hearing about it. No, it's not going to work. And that's the thing. They think this is this is like 9/11 again. That everyone's going to, you know, go you know, because we've been attacked. We haven't been attacked. We're the attackers.
Right.
We started
You,
this.
we talked about this before, and I think last time you were here,
Mm.
they always scream about this Sharia law.
Oh,
But
yes.
but if you read about Sharia law, it's very familiar.
Hmm.
It's familiar to Project 2025. Basically the same shit.
It is exactly the
Same,
same shit.
mistreatment of women, second class citizens, and sticking to just, well, Sharia law isn't about old white men, but it's our version of Sharia law. For
Yeah.
somebody who hates Sharia law so much, I don't know why you stand with MAGA. It's fucking basically the same thing.
And the other danger we have right now is that this bullshit thing about male loneliness and this push toward um, women not being able to vote, women shouldn't have a place. This this attacking of women's rights and placement in homes. But I want to make this clear to all you guys. Okay, you think you think that if you get that way and your wife does everything right, that you're safe. Let me make this clear. A lot of older women in the old days had a lot of husbands.
Yeah,
All right. Things happen. All right.
yeah,
And you keep talking like that. Women, I was listening to, they were doing a thing on the Dixie Chicks or the Chicks, and someone had brought up her song Goodbye Earl. Have you ever heard that
yeah,
song? Okay. And I'm listening to it and I'm thinking there's a line in there after the friend gets, you know, beaten up in the hospital. And the line is, um, that night, Marianne flew in from Atlanta, all right, on a red eye. And I thought, if she's coming from Atlanta, no one has lived now in that area long enough. She's not coming there to say, stay with your husband. She's coming there to take care of business.
yeah.
And you guys don't get it. And I keep saying this. Women don't, if you have any problems with dating and women, and you think they're all this and they're all that, you're going to die alone. And two, if you convince someone to marry you or get involved with it and you do shit, things are going to happen to you. Okay. I've been married long enough to know sleep lightly sometimes if you fucked up.
Well, I know
And I mean that in a loving way.
I've jokingly said this before that when I was younger and I was married, my wife's saying to me, "You got to sleep sometime,"
Yeah.
and there's some truth to that. Not that my wife's violent or would do anything like that, but
No.
basically what they're saying is you're not invulnerable. You can't do anything you want and get away
No.
with it.
And that's the thing.
And
They think the world, they want that world again, but even that world didn't exist. That world
no,
didn't exist. I mean, it just wasn't publicized. And I just, you can't go back to that and it's not going to happen. And that's the thing we're fighting also culturally with these guys who are still a minority. They just
right,
can get in front of the camera and talk shit. But no
right,
one, I mean, I listen to him, and as a man, I'm going, "You're fucking embarrassing me, dude.
yeah,
Shut the
no
fuck
shit,
up." And to be honest, as if I was a woman, I wouldn't date you either. Dear God, what are you bringing? You're bringing nothing to the table. I
yeah,
mean, and that's the thing. You bringing nothing to the table, and most women are going, "Well, we can live by ourselves. I can
yeah.
take care of my business. I don't need you. I don't need you." And that's where we're all mixing in through all this bullshit. You let in a bunch of fucking narcissists and misogynists in to run this country. What they're
Pretty
finding
much.
out, yeah, and what they're finding out, except for the women who are supporting them, thinking they can get close to power, it ain't working, and they're going to keep finding this out. So going back to, I guess, the theme for us right now is like everyone basically strap in for the ride, but be prepared to do the release when it comes, when we have an opportunity to do something about this, and that's coming up
Absolutely. You talked
because
about the next 8 months being crazy
mhm.
based on past history. I'm worried about next week. This is Monday when you're hearing this.
Oh
Every week
yeah.
it's something fucking crazier, something
Well,
tragic, something stressful.
is Congress in session or are they still out forever? I mean, because
Even if they are in session, what difference does it make? They don't
I
do
mean,
anything.
part of it too is Mike Johnson is just trying to run away from all this shit because he doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, he's a
So
scared ass little pussy.
and so yeah, so next week could be more of we don't know. There could be more issues with the Gulf terrorist
I
attack.
think
I don't know. I hope not. We'll see how that goes. I'm thinking that the Iranians are more in the point of let's troll them because they're seeing that we don't have to go there.
right.
Uh, Tragically, the shooting at the synagogue in Michigan by that Lebanese person was because all his family died in the bombing in Beirut, and so he had
Oh,
no
okay.
choice to do it. And I love how all of a sudden when that came out, the Israelis go, "Yeah, well, his brother was a Hezbollah commander." Okay, yeah, sure, right. We'll believe you. Go fuck
Yeah, we
yourself.
don't believe.
But it's
We,
tragedy after tragedy. And the hardest thing for everyone's got to know, you just kind of speak on it. Don't let them get away with it. Make sure we call it out. But do
yeah.
not lose heart that this is over because it ain't over. Oh, fuck no.
No,
Oh,
we're kind of
no.
winning. In spite of how bad it seems, we are kind of winning because Donald Trump is falling apart.
Well,
The MAGA group is falling apart.
and
People are stepping away from him.
uh,
It's slow but sure,
yeah.
but it's happening.
And the last thing I'll bring up because I know we're coming to the end is that all you have to look at is, and I think the best person, if you wanted someone who brings to the point, again, I agree with Johnny Bananas. You have to look at the special elections.
Yeah.
Okay. If this was going Trump's way and the Republicans' way, why are they getting their asses handed in every special election? They've lost every fucking one of them, or it's been really close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it
April,
shouldn't be close.
it shouldn't be close. We're coming to April 7th in Marjorie Taylor's old district here in Atlanta, in Georgia. Will Sean Harris win it? I don't think so. Will he lose by a couple of points? Yes. I think he's going to make the Republicans sweat. And that's something they should worry about, because then come, come 7 months later, they'll have to face him again. And I
Well,
think
if
it's
you
going to be
just
ready.
right, and if you just barely win in a very red district, there are plenty of red districts now that are much closer than that one used to be, and it should strike some fear into
Yeah.
some
And don't
Republicans'
worry about,
minds.
and Florida did something called the Save, their version of Save Act. Trust me, that's going to end up in a court. That's going to end up dead before, in the next, before the election. When
Absolutely.
everyone kind of don't, you can bring it up, but, and they're going to fight it. But understand, come November, even in, if this in an economic downturn or all the crazy, there will be an election, and it'll be an election that's going to basically going to go. You're going to see a tide that's going to affect not only Republicans with the Democratic Party, and come next January in 27, there's going to be a reckoning to start,
Yeah.
because if we get the House and we start doing investigations, there's nothing that could save you at this point. There's
Yeah.
nothing they can do to stop it, because the
So,
Constitution still stands strong, whether we
yeah.
like, whether they believe it or not. So yeah, he's kind of doing what he wants, but he ain't working.
No, it is not
It's
working. He's
it's not
failing every
working.
time he turns around. Why don't you tell folks where they can find you on the internet
Hey guys.
if they
Okay,
haven't
again
already?
here on TikTok, RJ127 on TikTok. I got to look at all my notes. I always do that. I am on Substack and YouTube, Binder38 US on Substack and YouTube. I finally figured out how to do long videos on Substack and how to deposit them on there. And
Yep.
it's kind of helpful. Um, and then you see stuff on YouTube. Again, you can, if you want to leave me a message, the number I have is 470-236-2403. Email is kumquat6@outlook.com. Love to hear from you all. Also at Substack, I do have a paid subscription. If you want to toss a few dollars at the old man to help him out, much appreciated. And yes, I'm a brown person, and I am genetically moved toward violence, but I'm also Puerto Rican, and that's how we do it. That's how we roll.
Yeah,
So
that's right. It's good to be honest about it. It's good to be
yeah,
honest about it. A
that's about it.
predisposition of violence.
Exactly.
Will chooses violence. Um, anyway, for those of you listening, thanks for taking the time. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.